Welcome to episode 145, Spotlight, System Security and Privacy Plans, where we examine how documented plans anchor accountability across every control and capability. The PL-2 control recognizes that effective protection begins with clarity. A system security and privacy plan is not just paperwork. It is the written architecture of assurance, describing what safeguards exist, who manages them, and how they interact. It translates policy into practice, providing a single, authoritative source that aligns stakeholders, auditors, and operators. When well maintained, the plan becomes a living reference that guides decisions and proves compliance. Its purpose is both operational and evidentiary, grounding every system in transparency and control. Building from that foundation, the plan must begin by stating its purpose, scope, and context clearly. Purpose defines why the plan exists, such as documenting compliance with NIST standards or demonstrating readiness for external audits. Scope identifies which systems, data types, and environments are covered, while context describes dependencies and operating boundaries. For example, a plan might apply to the corporate cloud infrastructure supporting customer analytics, excluding local test environments. Clear boundaries prevent confusion about applicability and responsibility. Defining these fundamentals up front ensures that everyone reading the plan understands where its authority begins and ends, setting the stage for disciplined governance. From there, the plan should describe the system architecture in plain language accessible to both technical and non-technical readers. This section captures how the system functions, what components it includes, and how data moves within and between them. Instead of relying solely on diagrams or jargon, it narrates architecture logically: servers, applications, databases, and their interconnections. For instance, it might explain how a web front-end communicates with a secure API that writes to an encrypted data store. Clarity matters because the plan's audience includes auditors, executives, and privacy officers, not just engineers. Plain descriptions transform complexity into comprehension, aligning diverse stakeholders around a common understanding. Building on that clarity, the plan must map control responsibilities and parameters explicitly. Every control implemented within the system, technical, procedural, or inherited, should identify who performs it, how it operates, and which parameters apply. For example, for access control, the plan might specify that password complexity is set to 12 characters, managed by the identity service team and reviewed quarterly. Mapping responsibilities ensures accountability and prevents duplication or omission. Parameters provide precision, transforming policy language into actionable configuration. Together, they make the plan both descriptive and directive, turning broad standards into measurable expectations. From there, identifying roles, owners, and review cadence keeps accountability alive over time. Each section of the plan should specify who owns the content and when it will next be reviewed or updated. For example, the system owner might verify accuracy semi-annually, while the privacy officer checks data retention details annually. Including alternates ensures continuity if personnel change. Setting a predictable cadence prevents the plan from drifting out of sync with reality. When updates follow a defined rhythm, the plan evolves alongside the system rather than lagging behind it. Ownership turns responsibility from theory into practice, and cadence ensures that attention remains consistent. Building further, referencing overlays, inheritances, and assumptions connects the plan to its broader compliance framework. Overlays apply supplemental requirements for specific sectors or missions, like healthcare or defense. Inheritances identify controls provided by external systems, such as shared cloud infrastructure. Assumptions record operating conditions that shape how controls apply, such as physical access limitations or reliance on third-party monitoring. For example, a system might inherit patch management from a managed platform provider, but assume internal teams maintain application layer security. Documenting these linkages clarifies scope, avoids redundancy, and ensures that each control's origin and context are transparent. Building on this navigational structure, the plan must also state frequencies, timers, and triggers for recurring actions. Controls that depend on periodic activity patching, review, scanning, or training need clearly defined intervals and conditions that reset them. For example, vulnerability scans may run monthly, triggered by new code deployment or system changes. Recording these temporal details ensures consistency and enables measurement. It also prevents drift, where actions once timely become sporadic. Timers bring predictability, while triggers preserve responsiveness, balancing stability with agility. Explicit timing transforms security from reactive maintenance to continuous discipline. From there, recording exceptions, compensations, and expirations keeps transparency intact when deviations occur. No environment is perfect, and temporary exceptions sometimes allow operations to continue under controlled risk. Each should document its justification, compensation measures, responsible approver, and expiration date. For instance, delaying a patch due to vendor dependency might include enhanced monitoring until the fix arrives. Capturing these details in the plan prevents hidden risk and demonstrates deliberate decision-making. Time-bound exceptions ensure that temporary measures do not become permanent complacency. Documentation turns necessary flexibility into visible, managed accountability. Building further, version history and approval tracking maintain the document's integrity over its lifetime. Each revision should record what changed, who approved it, and when. Signatures or electronic confirmations show that responsible officials reviewed and validated updates. For example, the privacy officer might approve data handling changes while the system owner authorizes new architectural diagrams. Version control allows readers to trace the evolution of controls and assumptions, simplifying audits and enabling rollback if discrepancies arise. A transparent approval trail shows that governance is active, not ceremonial, and that updates reflect organizational oversight rather than informal edits. From there, ensuring cross-document terminology alignment preserves coherence across the entire control ecosystem. Terms like system boundary, data subject, or owner must match definitions in other official documents, policies, privacy notices, and risk registers. Misaligned terminology causes confusion and undermines credibility. For instance, if one document defines incident differently from another, response expectations may diverge. Harmonizing language creates a unified framework where each document supports the same meaning. Terminological alignment reinforces that all security and privacy materials speak the same institutional language, reducing errors in both interpretation and execution. Building upon precision, periodic validation against implementation reality ensures that the plan continues to reflect truth rather than aspiration. Technology evolves, processes drift, and people change roles. Regular verification, through audits, walkthroughs, or spot checks, compares what is documented to what is actually implemented. For example, if the plan specifies quarterly access reviews, but ticket records show semi-annual completion, corrective updates follow. This comparison prevents stale documentation from eroding trust. Validation transforms the plan from a compliance artifact into an operational mirror, accurate, current, and credible. From there, metrics such as plan freshness, completeness, and contradiction rate provide insight into document health. Freshness measures how recently sections were reviewed or updated. Completeness assesses whether all required controls and references appear. Contradiction rate identifies inconsistencies between documents or versions. For example, reducing contradiction rate across plans demonstrates improved governance cohesion. Tracking these metrics gives leadership a tangible measure of maturity, revealing whether documentation supports or lags behind operations. Quantified oversight turns planning quality into an auditable performance indicator rather than subjective opinion. In closing, system security and privacy plans succeed when they remain living documents that guide real action. The PL-2 control reinforces that planning is not about producing paperwork, but about maintaining a central source of truth that evolves with the system it represents. When plans are current, linked, and verifiable, they connect intent to execution and demonstrate accountability across every role. A well-governed plan is a compass, not a relic. It points the organization toward consistent practice, reliable evidence, and continuous improvement. Through discipline and clarity, these plans keep security and privacy aligned, measurable, and ready for scrutiny at any time. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.